With pocket watch, free agency fastly approaching, the Cowboys and Jerry Jones, they have some decisions to make. And Attack on Cowboys is here to give you my 5 free agents that I think would be impact moves for the Cowboys that would also be realistic to work within the confines of that salary cap pie that the Joneses love talking about. Let's get right into it, and hopefully they get somebody off of this list. As you're watching, give me your 5 free agents that you would like the Cowboys to target and why in the comments below. Let's get right into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so you can see my list right here. Here's my list for the Cowboys' perfect offseason additions. And essentially, I want them to satisfy the positional needs that I'm listing here more than anything else. The names, if they get these specific names, and in my opinion, these are home run additions for the Cowboys. I think they will be perfect fits for the team and what the team is trying to do from a culture standpoint and from a player standpoint, right? So the first name on this list is someone I've talked about before, and it's Broncos nose tackle DJ Jones. Next up on this list, I got the 49ers linebacker Dre Greenlaw. Then we have the Packers cornerback Jair Alexander, Saints safety Tyrann Mathieu, and Browns running back Nick Chubb. At the end of this, I said let the draft fill the rest of your holes and get a number 2 wide receiver by any means possible. That means whether it be via trade, free agency, or the draft, you have to get another receiver to go along with CeeDee Lamb and open up some of that field for Dak and the rest of that offense. Now, I wasn't just going to list a bunch of guys out to you. I'm actually going to give you the numbers behind these guys and some interesting advanced analytics that you need to know about that's kind of letting you know how good each of these players still are, right? So the first player we're going to take a look at is going to be DJ Jones, the defensive tackle from the Denver Broncos. His calculated average annual salary is about $11.2 million per season. So if the Cowboys wanted to sign him, you would look at something like a $10 million per year type of contract. Obviously, some of that number will come down just a little bit based off of state income tax and that type of thing, because that is a real thing as it pertains to negotiations. That's why sometimes you will see players sign for a couple million less here or there, depending on the location. I could see DJ Jones coming to Dallas for a $10 million per season contract. Give him $10 million for 3 years, $30 million on a 3-year deal. I would absolutely love that, and that would solidify the middle of your defensive line for the foreseeable future and allow some of these other guys on that defensive line to get freed up a little bit. The Osa Odighizuwas, the Micah Parsons of the world, right? You can see here, DJ Jones has generated 30 run stops, successful plays for the defense. That's what a run stop is, on 168 run defense snaps this season. That's leading to a 17.9% run stop rate, which was good for second highest in the NFL with a minimum of 100 run snaps. So that statistic is literally all you need to know about a DJ Jones. And he's also a guy that's going to stay healthy, all right? You're going to get him majority of the time, especially the last few seasons. He hasn't missed much time at all. So this is going to be one of those strong, big, heavy one-techs to anchor that middle. And again, that's going to free up the guys on the edges and the guys playing that 3 next to him like Osa Odighizuwa. Really, really like a DJ Jones move. The next guy on that list was Dre Greenlaw. Now, according to his calculated average annual salary, he's looking at about a $6.7 million per season type of contract. Now, it has been reported with San Francisco that he was looking for $12 million per year and multiple years. He did not want a 1-year prove-it deal. So whoever signs him, they are probably going to have to give him about 2 to 3 seasons on that deal. And likely, the lowest I can see him coming down to is maybe about $10 million per season. So if the Cowboys can pull off getting Dre Greenlaw for about $11 to $12 million per season at maximum, I think that is a damn good move, as he's going to be an instant upgrade to your linebacker room. Remember, Dre Greenlaw is the same dude that was suplexing Tony Pollard and knocking a block off of our players, and he's going to be a guy that's going to come in and instantly inject your team with a physical play style. This is a guy that's going to enhance that culture, make your team more physical, make your team more gritty, give them just a tougher disposition overall, and it's going to give you a little bit of veteran leadership, some maturity in that locker room as well, because Dre Greenlaw, he ain't going for them games, man. He ain't going for them games. Some interesting statistics about Dre Greenlaw. The 49ers pass defense allowed 1.7 fewer yards per attempt on passes targeted to the middle third of the field with Dre Greenlaw on the field, compared to with him off the field over the past 2 seasons. So in other words, he's protecting the middle of that field, man. You better not go over the middle. Dre Greenlaw is going to knock your block off old football style, bro. You remember Patrick Willis and some of them boys? Yeah, he came from that same school of thump. In 2024, he didn't really get a chance to play too many games because remember, he was coming back off of that torn Achilles injury from the Super Bowl. So his value did take a little bit of a hit specifically from that. So I think that you could get a good player for honestly a discounted price because of the injury history with a Dre Greenlaw. And again, I think he would be exactly what the doctor ordered for the Cowboys, and he would hold us over until DeMarvion Overshown got back. And then when Demo got back, you're looking at a linebacker room of Maris Leofau, DeMarvion Overshown, and Dre Greenlaw. I would take those three over anybody else in the league. That's just me. But I am a biased Cowboys fan. I'm just saying. The next guy off of this list is going to be Tyrann Mathieu. And just based off of the kind of contract that he signed last time when he signed with the Saints, you could probably get Tyrann Mathieu for almost like a veteran minimum type of deal where you get him for $5 or $6 million per season. And I'm going to be honest, if you can get a Tyrann Mathieu who is still very productive, and yes, he will be 33 by the time the season starts, but he is still a very, very productive player. And if you actually take a look at it, Tyrann Mathieu has been one of the best coverage safeties in the league for a long time now. And last season, he had a damn good year as far as coverage goes. He only allowed a 59.3 quarterback rating when guys threw his way. He had 3 interceptions from that safety position, and he's a guy with some versatility. You can actually use him to blitz off the edge and rush the passer as well. So I really like a Tyrann Mathieu, and I think he would be an instant upgrade to our safety room. Slide him in the spot of someone like a Donovan Wilson, and you have made your backfield way, way better that way. The next guy on my list was Nick Chubb, and I mean, do I need to really explain why I wanted Nick Chubb? Look at the value that you can get a Nick Chubb for right now, $3.3 million average annual salary. That is literally a drop in the bucket, and that is half of what you would pay someone like a Rico Dowdle. Now, here's the thing. Nick Chubb is still trying to come back off of that terrible knee injury that he had, and while he did come back in the second half of last season, he's still working his way back from that. So obviously, you still need to draft a running back very early on, whether it be the first or the second round if you're the Cowboys. I think Nick Chubb would just be a very, very good veteran option to bring in that backfield. He's going to bring a strong running style, big physical running back, and at the very least, he can be used to kind of wear down the defensive line or opposing defense before you let your home run hitting rookie take it the rest of the way, right? So I like a Nick Chubb, especially at that $3 million value. If it isn't Nick Chubb, give me Aaron Jones, the Minnesota Vikings running back. I'm perfectly fine with that. I think Aaron Jones would probably be the best guy to actually get off of this free agent market from a veteran leadership standpoint and a productivity standpoint. Aaron Jones probably would be my 1A as it pertains to running backs and free agency. I only put Nick Chubb on here because he's the cheaper guy, and that's probably something that the Joneses would be looking at. And last but not least on my list is a guy who hasn't officially been released, and it isn't officially a free agent just yet, but all signs indicate a split for Jair Alexander and the Green Bay Packers. If this were to happen, I think that the Cowboys would be doing themselves a major disservice by not kicking the tires on this one, especially with Trevon Diggs and that injury probably keeping him out majority of next season, if not all of next season. DaRon Bland is the only reliable cornerback you have on this roster. If you can get someone like a Jair Alexander, who's coming off of 2 pretty injury-riddled seasons the past couple of years, you can see he only played 7 games in both seasons in 2024 and 2023, but when he did play, he was very effective. In fact, in 2024, he only allowed a 77.6 quarterback rating when being targeted. And remember, this is a guy that's on the field 83% of the time as of last season. So that type of quarterback rating when being targeted indicates that this is a guy that could still play the position very, very well. Opposing receivers only got an average separation of about 2.8 yards off of a Jair Alexander. And anytime you see anything less than about 3 yards, then that means the cornerback is pretty close. He's within a body length of the receiver, and more times than not, he can make a play or he can be in position to make a stop after a catch is made. So I really, really like a Jair Alexander. And if you actually look at it, his ball hawk percentage is the highest it's been in his entire career. It's at 23% as of last season. He forced tight throws on 20% of the throws that were thrown his way. So a fifth of the time he's forcing tight window throws. You put Jair Alexander out there with a DB and then bring Jordan Lewis back. I like your corner room at that point. Outside of those 5 moves, pretty much any of the wide receivers that's currently available on the market, I would love for the Cowboys to go out and get, as it pertains to guys that would be an instant upgrade over a Brandon Cooks. Anybody that's on a higher tier than the Cooks. So you're looking at an Amari Cooper, a Cooper Kupp. I really, really like those guys. I wouldn't be mad at bringing Brandon Cooks back to be our wide receiver 3. Not to be wide receiver 2, to be our wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4, just to have some veteran leadership in that wide receiver room. I think he's a good culture guy, if anything else. And if you can't get a Cooper Kupp or an Amari Cooper to come back to Dallas, you can't get one of those type of guys, I wouldn't be mad at bringing back Brandon Cooks, but you cannot allow your receiver room to just consist of CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Tolbert, and Jalen Brooks, and Ryan Flanoy going into the NFL draft. I think that would be setting yourself up for disaster. That's just me personally, though. But yeah, outside of that, I think that would be the Cowboys' perfect free agent additions, especially with the legal tampering period coming up on Monday. Let me know down in the comments below, what did you think about my list? What do you want the Cowboys to go out and do this free agency period? And what do you think they actually will do in this free agency period? Let me know down in the comments below. Till next time, how them Cowboys.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Hey! I'm still them boys.